Do you often cancel plans at the last minute? Or maybe you're the kind of person who replies to an invitation with, "I'm just going to stay home tonight." Dinner with friends sounds like a good idea, but when it's time to leave the house, something changes. And there's something curious about that. When the plan gets cancelled, sometimes what you feel isn't guilt. It's relief. For someone looking from the outside, that might seem strange. Some people might even think, "Is this person avoiding me?" But here's something many people don't realize. Most of the time, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Some people simply feel better at home. Not a little better. Much better. If you prefer a quiet evening on the couch, instead of being in a crowded place. If you've ever canceled a plan and felt that small sense of relief. Or if your idea of a perfect Saturday involves silence, comfort, and zero obligations. Then there's a good chance you'll recognize yourself in this video. Because today we're going to talk about something many people completely misunderstand. The psychology of people who prefer staying home. People who are often labeled as antisocial, lazy, or even strange. But from a psychological perspective, they may simply be functioning exactly the way their brain was designed to work. And the first thing many people don't realize is this. Not everyone recharges energy the same way. Some people feel more alive when they are surrounded by others. Conversations, movement, busy environments. For them, social interaction works almost like fuel. But for other people, the exact opposite happens. Every social interaction consumes energy. Even when the conversation is good. Even when the friends are great. The brain is still working. Processing faces, voices, expressions, social reactions. And for some people, that processing is simply more intense. That's why after a few hours in crowded environments, they begin to feel something very specific. Mental exhaustion. Not because the event was bad, but because their brain has been active the entire time. This is where an interesting idea from psychology comes in. Something called the optimal level of stimulation. Every person has a different amount of stimulation that makes them feel comfortable. Some people need more movement. Others need much less. When an environment becomes too noisy, too crowded, too unpredictable, the brain starts moving toward overload. And the most efficient place to restore that balance is often very simple. Home. Think of home as a kind of mental charger. There, you control almost everything. The light, the silence, and the rhythm of the environment. Outside, the world works very differently. Plans change, people talk at the same time. Places get crowded. And for some people, all of that creates a small but constant tension. It's not fear, it's not shyness. It's simply too much stimulation. But there is another important factor behind this preference. Control. In the outside world, many things are beyond your control. Traffic, noise, other people's behavior. But at home, there is something the human brain deeply appreciates. Predictability. You know where things are. You know how the environment behaves. And for people who are more emotionally sensitive, or who experience higher levels of anxiety, this creates a very strong sense of safety. Now here's the part that many people find surprising. People who enjoy spending time alone often share some very interesting traits. They tend to be more introspective. They think more deeply about their own experiences. And many of them have a very active inner world. Ideas, imagination, observation. While some people need constant external stimulation, others can spend hours exploring their own thoughts. And maybe that's exactly why so many writers, scientists, and artists spent so much time alone. Not because they hated people, but because silence allowed something important to happen. Deep thinking. But there's an important point here. Not every desire to stay home comes from the same place. Sometimes staying home is a healthy choice. Other times, it can be a sign of something deeper. Social anxiety, negative experiences from the past, or even moments of quiet depression. When that happens, home can take on two roles at the same time. A refuge and a prison. So there's a simple question that can help you tell the difference. When you think about leaving the house, what do you feel? If the answer is peace when you choose to stay, then it's probably just preference. But if the answer is heaviness, fear, or exhaustion before you even go out, then something deeper may be happening. Now, for people who truly enjoy staying home by choice, there is something interesting about the way they live. They learn to appreciate small details. The morning routine, a favorite spot on the couch, The moment when the house becomes quiet at night. Small things that often go unnoticed by people who are always rushing from one place to another. And maybe that's why these people tend to feel comfortable with their own company. They don't need constant stimulation. Their inner world is already interesting enough. So if you're someone who often prefers staying home, maybe you're not avoiding life. Maybe you're simply living in a different way. With less noise, less performance, and more depth. Now I want to ask you something. Are you the kind of person who prefers staying home? Or someone who feels energized in the middle of a crowd? Tell me in the comments. And in the next video, we're going to explore a type of personality that almost nobody truly understands. And after watching it, you might start seeing certain people in a completely different way.